All right, boys and girls, it's time for meet and chat. And this week, I'm introducing Mr. Cast Iron himself, Mike from Mr. Cast Iron. Mike, how you doing, mate?
Hey, Pete, how are you, buddy?
All good, thanks.
Good deal.
We have, who do we have in the chat? We have John Vincent. Pleased to see you, John Vincent. I think it's the first time I've seen you in here, John. Thanks for joining us. Patrick's here, so we're all in trouble. Patrick's in the house.
Oh, Patrick, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, Mike, forever. we've got a battle going on between Marmite and Vegemite. It's a Brit versus Australian thing. Right, I better find your questions, aren't I, Mike? But feel free to interact with the audience. Let's just have a look at this. Let's get the questions list.
Good to have you, Don. There's Dutchie cooking.
And right.
Steve over at Dutchie's Cooking's in your neck of the woods, Pete.
Is he?
Yeah. I really like his channel. He does a great job. I watch every video he makes.
Right. Okay. So what we'll do a bit later on is I'll get everyone with everyone who's got a channel. If we get some more in the chat, everyone who's got a channel, put an X in the chat like that, and then everyone will know you've got a channel and that you want to pick up some more subs. That's the way all that works. We all help each other out, don't we? Okay. So we got Dutchie cooking, John Vincent, Headwaters, Lake Fellsmere. Is that in the Lake District? Sounds nice, wherever it is.
That's a friend of mine down in Florida. I'll be talking about him here in a little bit, probably.
Oh, so. Great.
Yes, sir.
We got Patrick, and we've got Mark and Rosa in. So we're looking good already, I think. Right. And I'll just quickly pull up Mike's channel. That's Mike's channel for all of you who don't know, and for all of you who will be watching this after it's gone on my video list. So all the future viewers will be able to see this. That's Mike's channel. And it's Mr. Cast Iron channel. And the link, I don't know if you can see it, it's up there. And the link is also in the description below this video. All right, let's get some questions fired at my guest. That's the questions list he's going to be answering. So I hope you got your answers sorted out, Mike.
Well, sort of.
All right. What brought you to this moment in time, my friend? Why YouTube, and what's the background? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, initially to YouTube was I was looking at doing some type of passive income, actually. And, of course, YouTube, is being watched by billions of people every day. And, I mean, they're watching your channel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And as I mentioned earlier, Barry there that come in said hello to us. He's actually one of the guys that's kind of helped me along and started me on my journey on YouTube. I had never made a video. I'd been on YouTube ever since it came out. 2006, 2007 or something? Is that right? Maybe 2008. I'm not sure exactly when YouTube was launched.
I think it was 2006, I believe.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've been, participant for years. I've watched many YouTube videos just like everyone else. And I never thought about actually making one myself until like I said, I got into some things looking to do passive income, and And video is just something that's always there. People can see it, view it, they can share it, they can go back and rewatch it. And so I kind of got into that initially along the multi-level marketing line at first. And then I got into it basically just as fun here, you know, with Mr. Cast Iron doing cooking, and some other things happened. And I ended up shutting down a couple other channels for that reason. But when I got into cooking, initially part of the passive income direction that I was going in was creating a website and writing articles, and, you know, of course, adding affiliate links to that. And of course, websites are the same way. You know, they're always out there 24/7 working for you. And so that's kind of how I got started with that. And, you know, it was just told to me, basically, try to link up some YouTube videos with your articles that you're writing on your website. And so that's kind of how I got started. I just jumped out and, you know, dove in head first, and I didn't know anything about it. And a friend of mine, Barry, there, he's helped me along the way. We've remained friends all this time, and I still text him and call him every now and then for some advice, and he'll text and call me every now and then. We'll just kind of, you know, bounce ideas off of each other. But that's kind of how I got started, really. I was just, you know, I was looking at trying to create some passive income later on down for me and Mrs. Cast Iron, because, you know, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So I don't want to continue doing what I'm doing the rest of my life, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place. I really just started it just as a kind of, just as a repository for all my recipes and stuff, just as a legacy thing. But it grew more than I could have expected, and I just have such a great time doing it. And it is. I also have a little shop on Second Life. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, where I've sold signs, and that's another one. You know, I get a little bit, about £30 a month from that, and it's just from selling stuff and then converting the in-world currency into British pounds. They're all little drip additions, you know. Then I don't think I'm going to get rich doing a food YouTube, but it'll be a top-up thing, and it already is, so it's not bad. I can't complain, and I'm very happy, you know, for it. So what channels are your main source of inspiration, Mike?
Oh, well, I thought about this question and was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask that. But, you know, there's, as far as inspiration, I mean, I've got a lot of cooking channels that I watch, certainly all of us that are friends here on YouTube. Some that I'm not subscribed to that I watch from time to time, big channels.
Yeah.
You know, I watch a lot of rock and roll. There you go, Patrick. I watch a lot of rock and roll channels and things like that. I watch quite a few religious channels, and I watch quite a few tech channels, actually. You know, I'm kind of intrigued by the workings of YouTube. I'm trying to get better in my analytics and things like that. I watch those things, see how traffic moves, see what people are actually looking for, how they're reacting to the videos.
You're definitely tech savvy. You're ahead of the curve on that, because you seem to, like I said about the lighting. You know, you've obviously watched something that's told you about the lighting. You've lit your face really well for this kind of setup. So you know, you're no slouch when it comes to the tech, are you?
Well, you know, I'd like to think that I'm not, but I've got a long way to go. You know, I'm just like everyone else. It's a journey, you know, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We're constantly working and learning to try to get better. And there's so much that I've got to learn. Of course, sound and lighting, like you say, is a big thing. And I've recently upgraded my sound, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. Made a huge difference. But yeah,
sounds a biggie. I tried lots of different things, and in the end, I just kind of went back to the generic, the generic sound on my Sony camera. I just used the sound on that. I used to plug stuff in and I ended up with all sorts of sound distortion. But in the end, I just went back to using the generic sound on that. In this room, I use a Blue Snowball mic, so things are kind of nice. Yeah, so it's a learning curve, isn't it? I mean, it's just you've just got to learn as you go, really, and that's it, really. Just make sure you get your thumbnails right and your you've got to get your what are they called now? I'm forgetting stuff now. I'm getting all Alzheimer's here.
Yeah, I have a little part-time.
Keywords. You got to get them in your title, in your description, and in your keywords as well.
Right.
So as long as you get all that right, there's no reason why as long as you've got good content, there's no reason why it won't be seen. But it is frustrating when you're new and you're not seeing your stuff go up anywhere. It really is frustrating. It's terrible. It's awful.
Well, I mean, it is to a point, but then again, I mean, I still use an iPhone. I've got an iPhone that I film with, and I've upgraded to a Rode Wireless Go mic. They're not cheap, but I mean, just a regular mic on an iPhone works. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged and think that they can't jump out there, and make good videos. I mean, the content's really what people, sound kind of turns me off sometimes when I hear a bad video, but I don't necessarily click off of it just because of that. I give the guy the benefit of the doubt and go ahead and watch it, and because we all have to start somewhere. And so, I think if you're gradually, I think it was Brian G. Johnson or somebody, I forget now. I kind of watch those guys and different ones telling you how to get better. And I think if they said something like, if you get like 1% better, all the time, you're going to get there eventually.
Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? This is, I think in computer programming, they call that stepwise development. You just do it a step at a time, really, and then you run into an obstacle and overcome that, and you just get better and better.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, Pete, but it looks like Mr. John Vincent over there asked where I hail from. I'm from the great state of Arkansas. I know we're not supposed to talk about religious things, but I just wanted to throw this in real quick. Did you guys know Arkansas is in the Bible? See, after the flood, Noah stepped out of the ark and saw, it says. So I just wanted to share that with
you. Yeah, definitely. It's good. It's good. Right. Karen's in the house. Nice to see you, Karen. Thanks for joining us. Who else has joined us since Risa's joined us? Nice to see you, Risa. Right.
Hello, Risa.
Oh, you don't need to worry. This is Risa. Risa, you don't need to worry about Sam with your voice, lady. You've got a beautiful voice, nice honey voice. Yeah, you got the voice right, that's for sure. Right, we've got a question here from Headwaters.
What's your favorite cast iron dish to make? He says. Wow, Barry. I'm going to have to say it's chili. I know it's simple, but chili was one of the first things that kind of got me started in the direction of cooking. And I kind of tell this story on one of my videos on my channel about chili. Of course, back in the Henry days, I'll call it that if you know what I'm saying, we were a bunch of guys got together and we had a keg party. It's a keg of beer and everybody comes over. And well, anyway, we decided we were going to have food and everything. So me and a couple other guys went out and we bought like 42 pounds of ground beef. and then several other things. So we started cooking, and I got started making chili. I had a chili recipe that was, the one I use is similar to what my mom's recipe was, but I've kind of added to and taken away some things on that. But anyway, chili was one of the first dishes that I sat and watched. Now, I don't know if it was the beer or if they actually liked my chili, but everybody just raved and went on about that chili. So, I kind of got known a little bit for making a pot of chili. So that kind of started me on my cooking. And of course, like some of the guys, there's a friend of mine on a YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to, Paulie Detmers. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Paulie, but he ends a lot of his videos and says, never trust a skinny cook. Well, I'm certainly not skinny, so you can trust me, but I just I like to cook chili. So there you go, Barry.
Gordo's in the house. Thanks for joining us, Gordo.
Gordo.
I think Gordo's got us a question as well. I see Spots is from Oklahoma. Says hi.
Hello, IC. Good to have you with us. Said that sounds familiar. Yeah, it's I speak Arkansas. Everybody else has an accent.
Gordo says, is cooking in a cast iron dish classed as wok and roll? Asking for a friend.
Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah, a discarder's wok and roll, a cowboy wok, isn't it? Discarder. I still got to do something with that discarder I made. It was too big. It's a two-man lift. I can't do anything with it. It's just so huge. I don't know. I might have to give it to my friends who go to all the festivals and let them cook with it, I think. Right. We're getting lots of questions from the crowd gathered here today. Let's just pick you out another one. Right. So, well, we've done that, really. You've already said that. Which is your favorite of your published videos so far then, Mike?
Well, my favorite is a very long video. It's 30 minutes long. It's one that I created. Actually, my wife and I created. It's about my son. It's not even a cooking video, but it's about the story of me finding my son after 35 years. I never had met him until 35 years later. You need to watch that video. It's a great. That was probably the most fun I had. It was interesting. I tell a lot of my life story about how it took place, what path we had to go through, and all the way up to us. Yeah, there you go.
What I'm doing is I'm putting the link in the description there for you in the chat. So there's the link.
Wow, that one's about to get me teared up there, Pete. But
all right,
it's some of my life story of what happened. I'll just kind of briefly give you a rundown, and we'll move on. But back in those wilder days, as I was talking about earlier, I ended up getting a young lady pregnant, and we had split up, and it was back before cell phones. It was back before pagers even. And we had, didn't have the communication that we do now. And I tell all this in that video, but I didn't know that she had gotten pregnant, and being a single woman going to college and everything, she basically thought the best thing at that particular time was to put him up for adoption. And I didn't know any of this until about 3 months after he had already been adopted. Well, I wasn't able to track him down back in those days, early 80s. And just been all these years, 35 years, hoping and praying I'd get a knock on the door someday. Well, I didn't, but it basically turned out Ancestry.com was one way that, or was the way that I was able to actually, verify 100% that we had found him, because he had had a DNA test done for other reasons. just maybe past year ago or so. And my sister's real heavily into ancestry, and she's always been a genealogy buff and everything, kept up with all of our family for years. Well, anyway, he showed up as a close relative to hers. And as it played out, come to find out, I ended up taking a test and it showed that we were 100% matched. So we started working on trying to, meet up, and he lives up in Iowa and I'm in Arkansas. So Teresa and I, and of course, with the pandemic going on and everything, states were shut down. And so we've seen all kind of obstacles, but we were able to get up and meet with him, and we recorded all of this. So anyway.
That's a very touching story, Mike. Very touching.
Yeah.
If you look in my description, I dedicate all my videos to the people I know and love. And I also dedicate it to the people I love but don't know. And so I have a story very similar to yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
right.
Before we go on, all I could say to that is, folks, just don't ever give up. Don't ever lose faith, and don't ever give up, because all things are possible. It really is. I've waited all these years. I've had this hole in my heart for all these years, and I'm just telling you, don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Proud to know you, mate. There's a funny one from IC Spots. You did what?
Hard either.
You did what?
I probably wouldn't have the heart either, I see. He also asked up above there, I don't know if you caught that, Pete, but he asked me if I do any Dutch oven cooking in the ground.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't. One thing that really intrigues me that I'm interested in, and I've never done this, but I've always wanted to cook a whole hog in the ground, and I've just not ever done that. But
I'd love to do. I've had a hangi meal in with the Maoris in New Zealand. That was rather good. That's all done underground, and on they build a great big fire and put a load of rocks in the fire.
Right.
The whole lot drops into a pit, and then they just wrap everything up in leaves and stuff, and then throw it on top, throw a load of coir mats on top of that, and then cover the whole lot with soil, and come back 4 hours later,
right.
Take it all off, and that's the meal. But everything is cooked in there. The vegetables, the meat, even the stuffing is cooked in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
stuff.
I went to Hawaii many years ago. It was probably early 90s, I guess. I don't even remember exactly when, 92, 93, somewhere along in there. And of course, I'm always intrigued by the workings and the details of things. And we're going to go to a luau. And so I've seen them getting all that prepared and everything. And I wanted to check that out. And it's always intrigued me of cooking in the ground like that. So I don't know why I haven't done that. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. But anyway,
it's clear the Hawaii and the Maoris, who are similarly linked, aren't they?
I'm just reading
that comment. Yeah, it's funny.
50 Shades of Gravy.
I mean, we got to write that book, haven't we?
I love it.
Crazy. It's I think it's that method of cooking. In New Zealand, they call it the hangi. But the people, the Maoris of New Zealand, originated in Polynesia, so a bit like the Hawaiians, that kind of thing. So that kind of cooking is very Pacific Island orientated, I think. Yeah. There was a New Zealand pub manager in North London where I lived for a while, and he used to do hangis in his backyard. This is in rainy London, he's doing hangi meals. There we go. Right. Okay. I've got another question. That's a very funny question there, Gordo. That's a very funny joke. That pig in the ground. Yeah, I would love to try that. Let's have a look.
He said she was so proud of herself over that shiny skillet. He better hope.
That is hilarious, isn't it?
Oh, man.
You did what? Which of your videos did you have the most fun filming, Mike? The most fun?
You know, I'm going to say it was one of my recent videos. It was a smoked chili beans, smoked chili recipe at work. And it was so much fun because I was dealing with all the people working there. I was trying to film it. I was trying to keep everything together. And everybody saying stuff and commenting. Of course, you can't hear that. I've got that all edited out. I should have left it, I guess. But anyway, that was a pretty fun video to make. And then on the other hand, I know you're going to ask me which one was the hardest to make. And it's another video that I made at work. It's Charbroiled Big Easy Review is what it's called on my channel, but it's smoked turkey. And my goodness, if Murphy's Law ever come into play, it come into play on that video. I mean, if something could happen, it did happen on that. But I mean, it taught me something, and it made me stretch my abilities, because that video was the first video that I ever did a voiceover on. I don't know if you've watched it and you'll see that the voice doesn't match up with my lips moving, but that's okay. It taught me to go in and edit my video, and I do several videos now where I do voiceovers for various reasons. It may be windy outside, or there's a lot of noise, or whatever. But you know, that was the hardest video for me to edit and put together. And I had all that footage, and I thought, I'm not getting rid of this. I've put in so much time for this turkey that I'm not going to get rid of this raw footage. I'm going to do something with it. And I just went to work, and my goodness, it took me several hours to get that edited and voiceovered like I liked it. And then I went ahead and put it up.
It's good on. I think mine was the Scotch pies one. That was 2 years in the making. I kept trying it and wrecking it, and trying it and wrecking it, and it wasn't. I decided that it wasn't going to go out until I got it absolutely perfect. And it's my video. I'm probably the most proud of that. I also like the coloured skink, the Scottish soup. I like that one too.
Yeah.
Right. That's Icy Spots is on with another. Heritage pigs. Yeah, I like the Gloucester Old Spot for the flavour. Fantastic. And I think my sister had Vietnamese potbelly pigs. She raved about them. Then they're little pigs, but they're really tasty apparently.
You know, I see we've got another friend of mine in here. I don't know his first name. Man, we have great conversation, and that's Canoeing the Edge of the World. He's got a great sense of humor. I enjoy conversing back and forth on my videos. He watches a lot of my videos and always comments, and we usually have a long thread of comments, and we're bouncing stuff off. We both got a pretty good sense of humor, and so I just want to say hello to you, and I'm glad you're here with us.
Hello to Canoeing. Everybody mark his name and get over to see his channel. Right. If you've got a channel, boys and girls, put an X in the comments here, and so that everyone else can see that you're looking for subs and looking for followers. An X just like that.
He says that's a long way to paddle, talking about going to Hawaii. Long way to paddle a canoe with a pig on board.
Can you imagine that, trying to paddle across the Pacific in an outrigger canoe with a pig on board?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy, is it? Have you ever made sloe gin? This is from Gordo.
No, I never made it, but I've drank it.
Yeah, I've made it. Where I lived in Salisbury, and there was a big wooded estate up there with lots of blackthorn. So I used to go up and pick these blackthorn, little tiny sour plums. They're little tiny things, only where am I? About this size, little plums.
Yeah.
And just stick them in a bottle of gin and give it a shake every now and again. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Canoeing. I'll call you Canoeing for now because I don't know. What's your name? What do we call you? You just had a thank you from Canoeing. Right, let's find you another question then. Which of your videos has the most views so far? You said you do your analytics.
You know, that's a funny one, actually. It's about checking eggs for freshness in a water test. It's just a little short video. It's an old video. It's one of my oldest videos that I've ever created. And for whatever reason, it just blew up. I was actually adding links and getting involved with Reddit at the time. I don't do so much on Reddit anymore, but I do still post some videos there. But anyway, it was in one of the rooms, one of the Reddits, whatever, subreddit or whatever, and it literally blew up. I mean, as far as for my size channel anyway, it's 1,800 views or whatever, which is not a lot really. But for me, that's the highest one I've had so far.
Well, it's good. I mean, the thing is, people are interested in those little hacks, aren't they? I mean, if you look at some channels do nothing but hacks, kitchen hacks and stuff.
Right.
And I think people are generally interested in that. There's a question again, I think, or an anecdote from IC Spots. That's just dawned on me now, that has. IC Spots. Have you got a Dalmatian? Oh, no, it's a Chihuahua by the looks of it. Helen is in the house. Lady Helen is in the house. Nice to have you with us.
Daddy Dutch
hang on.
barbecue.
We got Daddy Dutch.
Yeah.
Daddy Dutch is in the house. Dutch cooking. We already
got. Buddy? Glad to have you. Yes,
nice to see you. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the subs, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to put an X in the comments if you have a channel, and put it in periodically so the others can see that you're looking for subs.
Yeah. Miss Lady Likeables, how are you today? Glad you're here.
She's drunk on Sherry.
Sherry, yeah. You got to watch out for Patrick, man. You got to keep an eye on Patrick. Well,
these guys are savages, I tell you. And they're great in the comments. It's gonna get messy later on.
The funny thing about this is, I think Patrick. I listened to his interview that you did with him recently, and I think me and Melissa, One Hot Bite, and Patrick, and there's 3 or 4 others that I remember. We all kind of started. Well, I started this particular channel about the same time they started theirs. Like I said, I'd had a couple other channels before, and I ended up shutting them down. Not completely, but I changed the direction I was going. Yeah. But anyway, I've kind of, Patrick and I, we've kind of followed each other and watched each other's videos and comment all the time. And Patrick's a good egg. I shouldn't say that. He can hear me, right?
Yeah, he can hear you. Go to his head.
Just kidding, partner.
What's that one from Canoeing again? That chicken soup video, Mike. Oh, that's nice. You've been helping your neighbor out.
Yeah, we unfortunately Arkansas has really been hit. I mean, everybody has, but we've really had a rise in the COVID situation. We've had several people from our church. It's they've had to quarantine. They've either tested positive or they've been around somebody, whatever. But anyway, we decided to make a big pot of soup, and chicken noodle soup's always been one of my favorite. Like I said in the video, Mom, when I was a kid, that's what she would always give us was chicken noodle soup. So I thought, what better thing, let's make a video about it and let's go help someone too. So
I've heard the London Jewish people in England call it Jewish penicillin, chicken noodle soup, because it cures everything.
It's amazing. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's actually a physical thing. But I know mentally, for me, it seems like it helps me. It warms the soul. So
yeah, it does. It reaches. It's like the Heineken of soups, isn't it? It reaches the parts other soups don't reach.
That's right.
It's good. It's a great immune booster. I mean, any bone broth is really. I love turkey broth for the same reason. Yeah. I've been sipping it all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Love
that. Question from Lady Likeables, who is slightly tipsy on the sherry, apparently.
Are you from Arkansas? Yes, ma'am, I am. Well, let me clarify that. I live in Arkansas. I'm originally from Missouri, which is across the state line. I'm only about 15 miles from where I was raised. I was born and raised in a little town called Kennett, Missouri, down in what's called the Boudille of southeast Missouri. And it's a town that is popular now, or famous, I guess, in a sense, for someone that became famous from there, and that's Sheryl Crow. I actually went to high school with Sheryl Crow, and there are several other musicians that come from Kennett. And so now you got Mr. Cast Iron from Kennett. How about that, huh?
Charlie's in the house, and he likes eggs. Hi, Charlie, mate. How you doing?
Charlie Pickles.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yes, sir. Glad you're here.
Right. Mike, how do you formulate your recipes? Do you go with tradition, or do you come up with new ones mostly?
Mostly, these are recipes that either I have made in the past or someone in my family. Every now and then, I'll get some inspiration from some of my other fellow YouTubers that, and I'll try something. I've got several things that are in the pipeline that, are a little bit of both. They're either from people that, I'm friends with, or it's other stuff that some of either myself or my family have made. And I just want to share that with everybody.
Fabulous. That's excellent. I love it when, especially when young YouTubers come out with something their granny used to do and see how they've tweaked it and played with it, made it their own. I love to encourage youngsters to cook and children. That's why I don't swear on my channel. I won't swear at all on my channel, because I really want it to be a place where parents can bring their children to watch.
Exactly.
Watch to cook. How old were you when you started cooking? You did say you brushed on that earlier, didn't you? But a lot of us start when we're kids, don't we, really?
Well, we do, and I did when I was a youngster, coming home from school. My belly demanded it, so I had to learn how.
Yeah.
I learned, small things. I've got a fried bologna sandwich on my video on my channel that I've made fried bologna for years, hamburgers, eggs. I mean, just started watching my mom, learn to cook, and she taught me quite a bit of the basics, and used cast iron. She had a cast iron skillet. And so,
okay, Janice is in the house. Hi, Janice. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Janice.
There we go. I'm not sure if she's talking to you or to someone else in the chat there, but there we go. Low or no carb. Pickled pig trotters. That's gross. It's not. They're lovely. I love souse pig feet in Trinidad. That's a street stall snack. That is. It's very popular too. They boil it forever until it falls apart, and then they chop it up and souse it with vinegar and lovely herbs and spices. Yeah. Mark, behave yourself. Oh dear, that's funny. Right, so I think you're of the not working to a script camp, are you, Mike?
I don't. I'm kind of
No.
like you. I'd get so confused trying to read something. I mean, I just, and
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a good thing. I mean, you know, we probably ought to speak faster and more clearer and everything, but I just can't work from a script, or I haven't been able to yet. I've tried to do some live videos and do some not interviews, but I want to do that. I mean, but you know, trying to read certain things, and I'm just more off of a cuff type guy.
Yeah. Gordo's talking about Heston Blumenthal, I guess you are. He's the crazy chef scientist, isn't he? He comes up with all sorts of weird concoctions and quail's eggs in hickory smoke and what? Remember that craze for eating foam? I mean, foam is great for putting out fires, but it's rubbish for putting out hunger. I never get that one. What's this one? Thank you very much, Janice. Appreciate that. I'll check those out. Question there from Canoeing. We're getting lots of questions from the guys in the comments. Excellent. We love it.
Yeah, cast iron can warp. I mean, it can get hot. It can crack. I mean, you got to be careful. Certainly, putting cold water in a hot pan. You know, I guess he says, does it really matter? You know, if that's what you have, if you have a warped pan, man, I say cook it. Get it in a fire and do you some cooking outdoor in an open fire pit. You know, to me, that's a way. I mean, there's a lot of shows where, you know, I mean, it takes all kinds, but I like to cook outdoors. I like to cook out on the fire like that. You can use cast iron in an oven. You can cook it in a barbecue grill. You can use it anywhere you want to. So as far as being warped, I mean, it might make the liquid flow to one side or something, but if that's what you have, I'd cook in it. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, as far as buying it, I mean, you want to be careful and buy one that's in good shape. But if you have one in your cupboards and pantry or whatever, it's warped, I wouldn't be afraid to use it.
There was a time in the 80s and 90s where you could go out and buy that for pennies on the pound, really. I mean, people were pulling it out of old folks' homes after they'd passed, and the youngsters didn't want it. They had their brand new stainless steel fancy hygiene and stuff, and all this black iron was going virtually free on car boot sales over here, you know.
You know, one thing to add to that, Pete, if I may, you know, I would much rather cook in a warped cast iron skillet than in a chipped up Teflon skillet.
Yeah, Teflon's not really good for us, is it? I mean, it's I guess it's not so bad when it's brand new, but as soon as it starts peeling and chipping, that stuff's dangerous. It's one of the most toxic substances that gets into us, really, one way or another. I'm not a fan. Do I use it? Well, on occasion, yeah, I do, but I don't.
We all do. I think we all have a pan or two. My wife's got one that she cooks her eggs in, and I mean, I cook everything in pretty much cast iron, even eggs and everything. But she has a pan that, you know, does real good, but it's not, you know, it's fairly new. It's not chipped up or anything, but I mean, you got to be careful with that.
Janice likes the bologna sandwiches.
Me too, Janice.
Dutchie likes your cinder block fire.
Thank you, Dutchie. I really enjoy watching Steve's videos. He does a great job. And he was asking, I don't know if you've seen the question earlier, Pete, but he's asking, where do you hail from? He's over in your neck of the woods.
Oh, I'm originally from Nottingham, from Hucknall in Nottinghamshire. I was born in Hucknall, lived in Nottinghamshire. Then I joined the army, and then I lived in the south for years, and I've ended up in North Wales, where my family moved in the 60s. Yeah. Lady Likeables. She's using that W word Cuss word. Begins with W. Look, work. It's a 4-letter word. That is.
I was going to say
Ellen.
that's a 4-letter word.
It's a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad
we
word.
Certainly appreciate you being with us. I don't know if she's leaving or going to work soon. Anyway, we certainly appreciate you.
Teresa's in the house. Nice to see you, Teresa. Thank you. And she's come in. Who doesn't? Hey, who doesn't love bacon grease?
In line there, Pete. That's my wife.
Right. Okay. Hi, Teresa.
She tries to keep me in line. It's hard.
Of course. So nice to see you, Teresa. Bologna versus Spam. Oh, it's a toughie, isn't it?
Well, Patrick, I'm going to say bologna. Now, I like Spam. And, about a month or so ago, there was a lot of Spam videos being made. I don't know if it was a challenge or I think it was a Spam challenge or something. I don't know. I didn't get involved in it, but yeah, I like Spam.
I like Spam. I like it for. I like to fry it in like fritters with, dust it with flour and batter and then fry that. The other thing, I like it breaded and fried. And the other way, with bologna, I love to chop that up and make a German Fleisch salad with it. With onions and gherkins and mayonnaise. Oh, love that. That's gorgeous stuff. That is.
You're so creative, Pete. I've watched several of your videos. I don't comment on every one of them, but I should. But you're so creative. I watched one yesterday. I had to work yesterday, and I sat and watched one of your videos. I guess it was the shrimp curry. And I thought, my goodness, he got so much detail in that. I'd starved to death before that meal was ready. But
yeah, I'm supposed to be the lazy cook and I do all that I do.
That's exactly what I thought too. I thought, man, Pete says he's a lazy cook, but he's really getting into detail here.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a purist. I like to start from scratch. I don't like when I cook Asian food. Yeah, I use bottled sauces because that's how a lot of Asian people cook. But generally, with British cooking, I'm a bit of a purist. I don't like to buy gravy. I'd rather, if I've got the choice, I'd rather make my own stock and things like that. Like chicken stock and what have you. I just know what's going into it when that happens.
Right.
That's kind of. I guess I'm a bit of a purist.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple videos of one of turkey broth and one of chicken broth. And I would rather make it if I have time because it is so. It's just so rich, and like you say, what's in it, and you can.
Helen, you'll see bologna is it's those. It's any one of a group of sausages, which is basically very finely mixed up meat that has been boiled in a big skin. So you'll see. You could argue that teddy bear sliced meat you get in the supermarkets is bologna. It's basically that. It's just like a luncheon meat that's sliced up. Or even sold as a big pud, a big sausage. Yeah. Dutchie is from Sutton in Ashfield. Oh, well, there you are. That's not too far away. Patrick's been slightly drunk for 30 years.
Oh,
that was in. I think he was answering Lady Ellen, who said that she's been slightly drunk or so. She had to sober up. And that was it. What's this one? We have a strange customer in our office. Food has names there. Yesterday, for example, I took a sandwich out of the fridge and his name was Michael. Oh, dear. I told you there were savages, didn't I?
Oh, man. We walked into this one, didn't we? I mean, we actually even signed up for this, didn't we?
Christopher. Hi, Christopher. Nice to see you. Cook some rice, dal rice and coconut choker. That is real fun. Well, that sounds very Trinibagonian to me, that dal rice and coconut choker. I do like a good choker. I do like a choker. You'd have to look on some of the Trinibagonian stuff and Taste of Trini's site for some great chokers. There's some fantastic stuff on there. Thanks for joining us, Christopher. Right, we got one here from Canoeing. This is going on the subject of cast iron again. Yeah.
Oh, where are we at here? Okay, the first cast iron or first iron skillet I purchased was intended for blackening fish that I'd caught here in Florida, but I've used that 10.5-inch pan for everything in the past 25 years. It's an heirloom, and that's true. That something that he mentioned. Cast iron is a unique utensil because if it's taken care of, and even if it's not, even if it's abused sometimes, they'll last forever, and people pass those down from generation to generation. And even if it's rusty, I've got some videos where you can clean them, even if they're rusty or whatever. You can restore them back to shape, and you can pass those down. That's great.
Maldwin's with us. Thanks for joining us, Maldwin.
Oh, Maldwin.
The bloke from Top Gear used spam in his Amazon Prime cooking series. Oh, I know you mean James May, Captain Slow. Yeah. Ellen, Carolina Reaper. Carolina Reaper is weaponized. It's so hot. I'm a pepper mouth. I can eat hot peppers, but I struggle with the Trini Scorpions and Carolina Reapers. They're just weaponized. They are hot.
Oh, Patrick asked, he said, Pete likes spam, especially wild American spam. Has Mike ever tried that? No, I don't think so.
Well, it's just a bit of a joke, really. I just say, because I make a joke about it because it's I just say wild American spam instead of just spam. It's just a bit of a joke. a bit of a spoof. Right, where are we? We've had that one. Lady Likeables is going to pass on the bologna. She doesn't like the sound of it.
Oh, it's great. It really is.
I've missed this train. Possums are protected in Australia. I'm not sure it's the same. In Australia, the possums are marsupial, isn't it? I believe. Yes. I don't know if it's the same as the American opossum, which I think is a kind of civet cat, isn't it? The opossum, the American opossum. What's that about? Turkish food? Pickles. Charlie says, you inspired me with your Turkish bread and I fell down a rabbit hole. Okay. Right, where are we? Hang on. We're way back, aren't we? Yeah, let's go to this one. Moist sandwich maker sandwich. Moist maker sandwich. I don't know that one. Do you know that one? Mm-hmm. Oh, those Paki chips. They're lovely. They are. I really do like them. The really hot ones, I've had those. They're absolutely super. My friends Emma and Lance bought a whole packet of them from Canada when they came over here a couple of years ago, and I hogged the whole packet. I loved them. Really nice. Very nice. Where are we now? This is interesting, from Canoeing again. So the American Possum is a marsupial. Amazing. Didn't know that. Patrick's pushing his luck here. He's got a question for you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with either one. I would hate to be the referee between you guys on this. I see you battling back and forth, and I'm just going to have to let you guys battle that one out.
Yeah. That should answer it, boys and girls.
Oh, man.
That answers it for you. You need know nothing else.
Wow.
No, it's all in good humor. I actually do like I've said before, I prefer the taste of Vegemite, but I like the texture of Marmite better. So if you could get an amalgamation between the two, it would be great. Carol's in the house. Nice to see you, Carol. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Carol. I'm glad you're with us. Patty,
You've got to say, he's got to say Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Oh, this is a great one from Lady Ellen.
Yeah.
You're on death row. You've got one choice of a meal. What are you having?
Wow.
Cool, that's a tough one, isn't it?
You know, I'm a pretty simple man, actually. Well, I would say probably a good old fatty ribeye grilled on the grill, on a fire pit or something. Baked potato, maybe a salad.
Yeah,
pretty simple like that. It'd have to be a pretty good size fatty ribeye, though. I'd want a big one.
Oh yeah, yeah, with a good sear on it, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, with a lot of juices still in the plate. You know, you can. Oh yes, absolutely. That'd be.
I'm going along with this guy. I tell you, I'm with him. With him. The ribeye, something good. Where are we? Patrick's wants to pay you to say Vegemite.
Yeah.
That's it. Obviously lost the argument, so he's gone to bribery.
Yeah, he's hurting for certain now, isn't it? So
Reza's on. Nice to see you, Reza. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Reza.
From a snowy and cold Toronto in Ontario, Canada.
Oh yeah. I've been
right. Canoeing says it's did you know you can tame a wild possum in 10 minutes? I didn't know that. That's all new to me.
You gotta watch him, Pete. I'm telling you.
I can't. I'm waiting for the beeline on that one. Yeah, I'm waiting for the punchline on that one. Have I ever cooked a paella? Yeah, I have. It's one of my favorite dishes of all time. It's bar none. Andalusian paella is my favorite rice dish. It's got everything. It's just fantastic. It's got Andalusian paella has got pork, chicken, every kind of seafood, mariscos y marineros. It's got the lot in it, and it's got peas in it, so it's got to be good. I love peas as well, and saffron. I mean, come on, that is just one classy dish. I do love it. I haven't cooked it for my channel yet. I think it's overdue, don't you think? Paella. In the middle of Spain, in the interior, they do a paella made of rabbit. They use bunnies, rabbit. But there's lots of different versions. But my favorite is Andalusian from the south of Spain. I really do love it. It's beautiful. And if you eat paella in places like the Canary Islands, that's more than likely the version you're going to get. Lady Ellen's classy lady, ribeye steak with mustard.
Yes.
Yeah. question from Charlie.
Charlie Pickles says Ben and Jerry's or Yarnell's. He must know something about Arkansas. Yarnell's is from Arkansas. Ben and Jerry's is from Maine. Is it Maine? I think they're from up in Maine, right? One of the up East Coast states, Maine, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Charlie, I like them all. That's one of my weaknesses. I know it's one of the questions on the list here, but my weakness, my junk food is ice cream, brother.
That's answered that question then. That's good.
Yep,
well,
sure.
If we get questions from the floor, it's probably better than anything I'm going to ask.
Yeah. What's the weirdest food you've eaten or would want to try? I've had crocodile, but would love to try snake. I've also had squirrel, guinea pig, ostrich, and kangaroo. Wow. Well, I have eaten rattlesnake, and I've eaten a little bit of. I don't remember if it's crocodile though. I've eaten a lot of food from Louisiana. Louisiana has got some good Cajun food, and crocodile. I'm sure they have crocodile bites. I know over where Patrick's at, it's Crocodile Rock, right?
Yeah, I've had rattlesnake. I was in Canada, serving in Canada in the British Army, and we was in the we were in the same barracks as this civilian defence research establishment, and there was this nutter used to go out onto the prairie, catch rattlers, and bring them back in steel cages, and he'd cook them up on the barbecue. Yeah, I find it all right. It was passable. It's quite nice to eat. I've had squirrel, which is really good eating. American grey squirrel is good eating. You don't get a lot of meat on it, but it really is good. I've not had guinea pig. I've had ostrich and I've had kangaroo steaks. Yeah, roo's all right. Ostrich is really good.
Yeah, I've not ever had guinea pig, ostrich, or kangaroo, but I have, like you say, gray squirrel. We have fox squirrel, red squirrels. They're a little tougher, but squirrel's great. Wild boar, something that I like. We have what's called a wild men's game supper once a year at our church, and guys that hunt. Everybody around here hunts and fishes just about, but everybody brings their own, or something brought in. A lot of deer meat, venison, bear, different things like that, and bison, elk. I've had all of that. And
yeah, I love moose meat. I had moose when it was on a guest ranch in Pinch Creek in Canada. That was really super. That was fantastic meat. Other meats I really love is reindeer. The Swedes eat a lot of reindeer meat, and the Finns eat reindeer meat, or caribou, as the Americans call it. And Canadians, they call it caribou. And the other one, I really, really love kudu meat. Is a large antelope from Africa. That's really special. That is. I've also, the weirdest thing I've ever eaten is this, a sea slug.
Yeah, I'd had to pass.
That was in a Chinese restaurant in Macau, which is a sort of Portuguese colony in China. Yeah. That's a really good question. Weird food always gets people going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What we got? What else we got here? We got comments. Don't try to tame wild possum. Here we go.
Risa's having to leave us. Thank you for being with us, Risa.
Where's Risa? Thanks for coming along, Risa. I really appreciate you coming. Thank you. Zebra. Never eaten zebra. Oh, you're from Gordo's from near Bristol, did you say? Other side of the stove. Hi, other side of the stove. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you.
Yes, glad you're here. Alligator tail, huh? It's interesting. I would try it.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah.
You know, I went down into the Caribbean one time years ago on a cruise, and I had conch fritters, and
Conch is lovely.
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Here we make something similar to that. We call hush puppies. It's, you know, it's great, but conch is a type of meat that comes out of the shell. You know that. I mean, but they made that into a fritter, and I'm telling you what, that was awesome.
Conch is a large whelk, a large sea snail. It's really good eating. I've had conch in pies in Trinidad. At this fish wharf in St. James in Trinidad, I had this wonderful conch pie, and it's the best pie filling I've ever had. It was just absolutely gorgeous. Conch. Yeah. Mark made some moose summer sausage just last week. Nice. Chef Alexis. Who's Chef Alexis? Is that someone that's just come in? Or?
Not sure.
Yeah, that's if it had fur or feathers or swam, you could eat it. Yeah, absolutely. If it moves, you can eat it. And Charlie says he'd eat anything as long as it's done well. I think I'm in the same camp, mate. I'll just eat anything. You know, if people, I've even eaten crickets on a stick in. It's a cinema snack in Hong Kong. You got crickets on a little stick that have been like candied, and they're kind of salty candy and chewy. You know, really nice, crunchy. I mean, they're actually rather nice. That's me.
How about goat? You eating goat?
Oh, the other side of the stove is Alexis. Yeah, goat, and that's another. I grew up in the inner city, Nottingham, and there's a lot of people there who are of Jamaican extract, or they came from Jamaica in the 50s, or their families did, and curry goat is a big deal with the Jamaicans. They love in fact, all over the Caribbean, they love their curry goat. And also the Gurkhas. I've served in Hong Kong, not alongside the Gurkhas or with the Gurkhas, but I was attached to them for a very short time to just do some work on the border. And they make a big deal of goat. If you go in the Gurkha barracks, you can smell goat everywhere. Goat.
Well, I lived down in Texas for many years, and you know, that their barbecued goat was a big thing in Texas. I actually started eating it back during those keg party days I was talking about earlier. I probably shouldn't talk about that too much, but anyway, we used to barbecue goat, and that's when I first got started eating it. I like it. Some people, you either like it or you don't.
Yeah, it's what's the word? It's polarizing, isn't it? People either like it or hate it. A bit like Marmite and Vegemite. People either like they either like those yeast extracts or they hate them. I think it's the same kind of flavor profile as the blue cheeses like Stilton and Gorgonzola. I think people either like them or hate them, and it's kind of that edge of flavor, that umami, salty, deep, rich, powerful flavor that people either love or hate. I love it.
We got one finger in the house. Hello, one finger.
Hi, Fanger. How you doing? Thanks for joining us and welcome. Other side of the stove had scorpions in Hong Kong. Delicious. I haven't had those in Hong Kong, but I would. Curry goat is a great meal. It's superb. Caribbean curry goat is
giving you some ideas now, huh, Pete?
Yeah.
Very good.
I ought to do a curry goat. I should. It's overdue as a tribute to my friends in Trinidad and my Jamaican friends. Goat legs in the slow cooker. So nice. Again, just low and slow cooking, isn't it? Really nice. Chocolate covered crickets. Right. Steak rare. Steak rare. Well done. Yeah, I like my steak rare, especially if I have like a rump steak. I think a ribeye needs a bit more cooking. It's better when it's got nice sear on it. But if I have a like a rump steak, something that from that end of the beast, right from the top leg, I like it rare. I like it hemorrhaging. I'm a real caveman when it comes to that. What about you?
I like my ribeye medium, probably about 145 or so, maybe 150 at the most. My wife has to have it well done, so I take mine off well before hers comes off. She's a shoe leather kind of gal.
My brother likes his done better than I do, but I'm happy to have mine hemorrhaging. I was in Hong Kong from 1982 to 1984. I was on Stonecutters Island, which it was still an island back then. They've now joined it up to the mainland at Sham Shui Po, and they've built a great bridge over it. The Seventh Fleet ships used to come in. I've been on board Midway. That was a real education going on board Midway. The power, the raw power of that machine is just awe-inspiring, crazy. Yeah, you don't want to mess with people who've got Midway, I tell you. Yeah. Pickles like steak, rare to medium rare. Any more? Slap you. like those chefs in some of the top restaurants in London. I know serve him. A well done steak. I know serve him. What's that one from Fanger?
Yeah, One Finger. I like that name. That's a cool name.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I just wonder which one finger he's talking about.
I like the name myself because it's got a kind of if you understand German, it means he's kind of a prisoner as well, or a convict or something. Fanger. So it's got a bit of a international ring about it, and it's also one finger in it.
Right.
Yeah, fill my bowl and pass the salt. Oh, that's true.
I'm loving this. I don't have to answer these questions you sent me.
It's going out. Yeah, well, I don't think we got many left, have we? I think
we've actually covered quite a few, really.
Oh, let's do your goals. What are your goals?
Oh, wow. Of course, certainly I want to get to, monetization. That was initially why I started, originally a passive income route. Of course, my cooking channel has all been for fun. My friend Barry that was in here earlier, I don't know if he's still here or not.
You will get there, Mike. You will definitely get there. You've got good content, and it's watchable. You will definitely get there. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of how long and how soon, really.
Yeah, and I mean that's not. That's not my motivation necessarily. I mean, I want to get there. That's certainly a goal. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating. There's no doubt about that. And I enjoy sharing it. Like I said, when initially I got started cooking as a kid, that's something that really I enjoyed watching someone's expression eating. something that I cooked. You know, that I think any of us, that's something, that's the appreciation. That's the pat on the back when you see somebody say, boy, that's so good, you know, or whatever. And it just, that's the motivation to watch that. And of course, I like to share that. Certainly one of, you know, you might as well take the full effect of the benefits too, getting monetized while you're at it. So I'd like to get there, but I'd just like to reach more people. I just enjoy the community. I love this community. YouTube is so much better than any other social media that I've ever been on. It's just a big family. It's a big community.
Yeah, people are kinder, aren't they? They really are encouraging and kind. I love YouTube. Yeah. I love the vibe. It's great. This, you know, even with this bunch of savages here, it's fantastic.
Yeah, they're brutal in here tonight. I mean, they're just, but you know, I mean, you can learn anything you want to know off of YouTube. I mean, if you have a problem or if you have any kind of question, I mean, you can find the answer to that on YouTube. And so I pick up a lot of tips and tricks from other cooks, other chefs, other backyard barbecuers, if you will. And we all do, you know, we pick up little things here and there, and it just helps us. And I just love that. That's just, you can't beat it. So, you know, if I never got monetized, it wouldn't matter. I know recently they just changed some of the terms of service in YouTube where they're going to start placing ads on channels that are not monetized yet, haven't met the threshold.
Well, it's my understanding they've already been doing that. You know, they've certainly been putting ads on my stuff.
Well, and some of the groups
when it wasn't monetized, yeah.
Right. Some of the groups I'm in, they're saying, you know, or what are you going to do? Are you going to continue on, or are you going to quit, or what? I mean, if that was our motivation, you know, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people close their channel for it, but you know, that shouldn't have been the motivation from the beginning. But, you know, it's their game. They're going to play it the way they want to play it. So you just got to play with them. So,
and that question there from Gordo as well.
To get back to that, initially on some of my other channels, Pete, that I'd had before I started Mr. Cast Iron, I was actually already monetized. And when they changed the rules and went from 1,000 subscribers to 4,000 watch hours, it kicked a bunch of us out. I'm still approved for monetization now. I just have to meet the threshold.
What did we call that? Adpocalypse, didn't we? When that happened, we started calling it Adpocalypse. Do you tenderize your steaks? Gordo asks. I have a meat mallet, makes all the difference.
I do not, Gordo. I just watch my steak closely. I mean, this could be controversial with anyone, I'm sure, but I'm a meat flipper. I watch my meat and I flip it ever so often, every few seconds, unless I want a real good char like Pete was talking about earlier. But you can obtain that char even flipping your meat ever so often. And I've learned, especially with like wild game, you can really mess up wild game if you don't know what you're doing. And I've eaten some really bad dishes that they didn't know what they were doing.
The fibers tighten up too quick on it, don't they? And you can end up like eating rock or something you just can't chew. So you end up chucking it in a low and slow cooker and then cooking it to death before you can eat it. Yeah, game is a different ball game altogether, isn't it? A lot of it
is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do tenderize, but I'll buy a cheap steak. If I'm doing something like chicken fried steak, I'll tenderize that. I'll use a cheap one, give it a good old thrashing with a meat mallet.
Right.
And I'll also use a meat mallet when I make schnitzel. So,
well, I really wasn't even thinking about those. I mean, I was thinking about ribeye. I had that on my mind earlier and different things. But yeah, certain dishes you would probably need to kind of tenderize them a little bit. But
Charlie's, the place in Jacksonville, they have great pasta. Wow, that sounds good too. Italians seem to have an innate understanding of anything to do with fish and seafood. They're excellent at it. I love the Italian seafood dishes. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Miss Rebecca and Cast Iron Skillet Kitchen in the house. How y'all doing? Glad you're here with us.
Oh, hang on. I'm well behind here. Let's catch up. Welcome, Chef John and Rebecca. Thanks for joining us. To do it right. Let's have a look. I'm missing stuff here.
You know, I was reading something Patrick wrote there too, and I mean, I probably should wait for you to talk about the questions. I'm kind of jumping ahead of you here, but
worry not, sir. We're all friends here. It's not a formal occasion, is it? It's
Patrick said I can't wait for them to put ads on my channel. That'd be the best part. And I know he's joking and everything, but you know, there's some truth to that, because if they're going to put ads, like if they were choosing certain videos based upon their advertisers to place ads on your video, then obviously your content is worth, you know, it warrants having advertisers on it. So,
yeah,
you know,
I've got this argument about like weapons here, and in the UK everything's banned, you know, but if the police can carry weapons, then they must be essentially lawful to carry them. So why can't we? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. It hooks back to ancient Rome, when only slaves could carry weapons, couldn't carry weapons. You know, so only people could carry weapons, not slaves. It annoys me.
Chef asked also, Mike, what's your favorite ingredient you have to have when you cook? Chef, I'm pretty simple. I'm a simple man. I'm a salt and pepper kind of guy. I love onion powder, garlic powder. I have a few shake-ons that I use. We have one over here from Louisiana, I believe is where they're from. It's called Slap Your Mama. I love that. We have
I like that.
Yeah, we have a shake-on real close to where I'm from called Strawberries, and we've got a barbecue joint across the river in Missouri there that it's Strawberries. It was like a little bar and grill, but anyway, they got to making seasoning and everything with their barbecues, and they've done really well with it. And I mean, you can find it in Walmart and different stores. You can order it on Amazon, but in our area around here, a lot of people use Strawberries, and I do. I use that lightly. My wife doesn't like a whole lot of shake on, so I have to watch what I make when I'm making it for her. But I'm pretty simple: salt and pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. You know, I like if it's a chili, if it's a soup or something like that, I certainly use bay leaves a lot. I use cumin, chili powder, things like that. I
like cumin.
I'm a big jalapeno man. I love raw jalapenos. And I like to cook with jalapenos. And oddly enough, even though she doesn't like shake-on very much, she will. Most of the things that I cook, as long as I de-seed the jalapenos, she's pretty much good with that.
Yeah, so, I like jalapenos. They're nice.
I love them. Sure.
Mike, where do you see your channel in 5 years' time, mate?
Oh, 5 years' time. Hopefully with about 5 times the amount of videos on it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a lot of videos up now, haven't you? For how long have you been going? You've been going.
Well, actually, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary here for Mr. Cast Iron. I initially started. I meant to say this earlier to give a shout out to my buddy Barry. I don't know if he's still here or not. Anyway, I initially started this channel as a keto type channel. And I had some health issues that kind of surprised me and shocked me, so I had to make some changes. And so I initially started out. So if you see some of my older videos, it'll still have, or you may hear me say, "Hello, this is Mike. Welcome to Keto Style." That was the name of it. And
Sorry, Dutchie's just taking off. See you later, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Appreciate it, Steve. Take care, buddy. So I, keto, of course, there was certainly a lot you could do, but initially, like I said, when I was getting started with Barry back in some other business dealings that we were doing at the time, multi-level marketing and different things, I had created a website, and it was about cast iron. And so one day he called me out of the blue just to say hello, and I wasn't able to answer the phone. And when he left a voicemail, and I still have it on my phone, I listen to it every now and then to get a good laugh. But he said, "Hey, skillet head, what are you doing? Mr. Cast Iron." He said like that. And that just stuck with me. When he said that, I thought, man, that's my name, Mr. Cast Iron. So I immediately looked on YouTube to see if there was anyone that had a Mr. Cast Iron channel. And I went to looked at domains, and I bought the domain name, MrCastIron.com.
Good on you, mate. Yeah.
And so I immediately changed my channel at that point. That was a game changer for me. So I went from keto style to Mr. Cast Iron, and I kept the same videos that I had created for keto style. And, I probably lost, a handful of subscribers because I changed, but it was early on. I knew it was probably going to happen. So that was just a direction I wanted to go because, I really was more into cast iron than I was keto, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all dabbled with it. I know Chef John has at Cast Iron Skillet. Emma's in the house. Nice to meet you, Emma. Nice to see you. Lovely. Thanks for joining us. Everyone say hi to Emma. That's Flavor of Life the Sustainable Way.
Hello, Emma.
We've got a question from, I don't know if it's rhetorical. We've got a question from what chicken is in chicken fried steak?
I'll let you answer that one, Pete.
Chicken fried steak's basically just a steak schnitzel. It's just cooked in the same way that fried chicken is. That's all. It's sort of breaded, dipped, and I think he already knows. He's a chef, right? He's a chef.
The other side of the stove asked me, said, Mike, what two things would you do different on Mr. Cast Iron if you could do it all over again?
That's a good question.
Well, that's interesting. What two things would you do different on Mr. Cast Iron if you could do it all over again? Some of the videos I would probably take a little more time and make sure the surroundings was a little more suited. We live close to a train track, probably about a mile away, and you can hear the train whistle a lot. We live in town, but we live on a main highway, and a lot of trucks go by, a lot of big trucks. And I'm a truck driver. I've been a truck driver for 30 plus years, almost 40 years now. And so I got a lot of friends in the trucking business, and they know where I live. They'll see me in the backyard. They'll go by and blow their horn or whatever, And so just the sound on videos, I think, Chef. Some things you just have to test, really. It's like I was telling before you guys got on, me and Pete were talking before the show started. I actually did a live video on my channel to tell everyone that we were going to be on an interview with Pete tonight and to come over here. And as I started recording the video, I had my cell phone on YouTube. And when I went to record on my desktop, I got feedback through my phone. And, there it was. It was already there. I just had to go with it. I left it and just went with it. So, we always have those little quirks, when we're recording. I know we all do.
Yeah.
So
someone asked me to do a video of my outtakes. I can't. They're totally unprintable. My outtakes are, I revert to type. I become a career soldier again. and the air turns blue around here. So I wouldn't ever film that. I'd be too embarrassed. Emma's. Oh, by the way, it's Emma and Lance's wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary! And they've achieved an awful lot together, Emma and Lance.
Awesome.
They're really, really superb friends of mine. Very close friends. Gordo talks about the seriously hot chili. Yeah, that sounds like something I'd be interested in trying. Very much so. Any channel with the name Cast Iron in it is a great channel. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Two of my favorite channels have got Cast Iron in the name. What? Oh, that's happy, isn't it? I missed that one. To click that one. What's something you say in the video too much and didn't realize until you? Is that like idiosyncrasies of speech, like and I do a lot of
I think that's a problem we all have. You know, especially like you asked earlier, do we script or not, or do we just wing it? And I think we do that way more than we should when we're winging it. You know, I'm trying to be conscious of it. I'm trying not to do it as much, but you know, I'm a country boy. That's kind of the way we talk.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Where do you see your channel in 5 years, Mike?
Well, like I said earlier, you know, I see a lot more videos. I certainly have several in my mind. I've got a log of things. I don't really have a schedule per se, as far as I want to do this video this week and this video next week. And, you know, I do with the work schedule I have, the type of work I'm in now. I mean, I'm still driving a truck. Like I said, I drove a truck coast to coast in the United States for many, many years. I run coast to coast for a long time, so I wasn't able to do this kind of stuff. But I still drive now, but I drive locally. But we work quite a few hours. It's in the farming industry where we fertilize crops and put lime down for crops and things like that. So from time to time, it's fairly late hours. But so I can't always create a video every week. I try. And I would really like to do 2, but you know, that's a challenge. I mean, that's a lot of work. A lot of people, of course, everybody here knows and realizes, but it's a lot of work to create a video.
Yeah. I drove multi-drop for a couple of years in the 90s, but I gave that up and went back to my better paid job of working in the IT industry.
Yeah.
It was hard work. Multi-drop was hard work.
That was one of the questions you had on here. Something about what did you want to be when you were a child? And
oh yeah, what did you want to be when you were a child?
That was it. I knew from the time I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a truck driver, and I achieved that. And I just wonder, you know, and I've said this many times to my wife, and you know, I just wonder how many people you went to school with actually achieved what they wanted to do. Are they actually doing what they wanted to do when they were a kid? And I achieved that. I've been blessed, you know, highly in that. And the fact that I was able to travel across this great country, man. I love America. I've been in all 48 states. I've been in Canada.
Fantastic.
You know, the only state I've not been to is Alaska. I've been to Hawaii. I couldn't drive a truck over there, but I flew over there. But, you know, I've been able to see this country, and it was because of a truck, and I actually got paid to do it. So, you know, I started driving at an early age. I was able to buy my first truck when I was 24 years old. And I've owned my own trucks, you know, most of those years up until probably 99 or 2000. I think I sold out, moved home. And then I ended up, after my mother passed away, I ended up buying one more truck in 2007 or 8. And I made one tour around the whole United States. And then I said, I'm done. I'm done. I've been everywhere, done that. And I just want to come home and stay home. And I did. But I've achieved what I wanted to do.
The things you must have seen. Amazing. Amazing career.
Yeah. And I'd like to go back, you know, and see some things where, and I mean, owning your own truck, you had a little flexibility versus some guys that work for a company. there's many times that I had dropped my trailer and go somewhere and see something, that you might not otherwise could. I'd like to go back to several places in this country in a car or pickup or something, or RV or whatever, and really take a little more time to enjoy it. But with the way the world is right now, with this craziness going on, I mean, you can't hardly leave your own state now.
It is. It's crazy. I think it's blown out of all proportion myself. I mean, there is a very real and dangerous threat, but I think that some serious medical advice is being ignored now. The governments are not listening. They like the power. Where would you bury hidden treasure if you had some?
Oh, in a cast iron pot somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe in the kitchen. My wife would never find it. Huh? No, I shouldn't have said that.
That's good. You'll get licks for that.
I'm in trouble for that. I'm already in trouble for that, I'm sure.
What would you dip a chicken nugget in?
Wow. Well, I like marinara sauce, and I like ranch dressing. I like ketchup. I like honey mustard's good, but I like marinara sauce a lot. With ranch dressing's great with chicken nugget.
All the above, I think. All the above.
Yeah.
What do you drink with dinner? Beer, wine?
No, sir. I'm a coffee man. I love coffee. I drink coffee all the time. I drink water. I don't drink soft drinks.
That'd be a hangover from the trucker days. You drank coffee to keep you awake. Yeah, right.
Well, I got started drinking coffee as a kid. My mom and dad drank coffee, and I got started drinking coffee with them at an early age, and I've just been a big coffee drinker ever since.
Shall we go to the movies question? What movies could you watch over and over and over again and still love?
Well, I don't know if you've seen this new cup of coffee Teresa brought me here, but
man's got to do. Oh, John Wayne, you like the Duke?
I can watch Duke. I've seen, I don't know, probably close to all of them. I can watch John Wayne on a Saturday morning and just watch them all day long.
What's your favorite then of John Wayne?
I don't know. I like.
It's got to be Sons of Katie Elder or True Grit. Yeah, definitely.
I like Sons of Katie Elder.
Yeah, I'd have to toss up between those two. Great films. Great films.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that. Charlie Brown. I like Peanuts movies. I've always liked Charlie Brown. Forrest Gump, is a classic. And I've watched
great film, yeah.
No telling how many times I could watch that over and over. Another one that I like is The Green Mile. That's something that I've watched many times.
That's amazing film, isn't it? What a brilliantly put together film. Yeah.
Hunt for Red October is one that I've watched.
Oh, another good one.
Those kind of things. But yeah, I'm a big John Wayne fan. I always have been. Clint Eastwood. I've always liked Eastwood films, and Charles Bronson back years ago. I watched Charles Bronson a lot. Sister
Jay's in the house. I bet Sister Jay's got a good curry goat
I bet she does. How you doing, Sister Jay?
Good nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. What's that? Charlie says they've been replaced by fast food chains.
Yeah,
that's a pity,
Charlie,
isn't it?
I mean, I'm old school. I can remember back in the days, where everybody wanted to find out where the best place to eat, and truck drivers always knew where they were at. Years ago, a truck stop was some place you could go in. You might have a round table there where, 15 or 20 guys sit around the table and don't know each other. We probably won't ever see each other again or whatever. And sit around and have a good meal and several cups of coffee and a good laugh, and those things they're few and far between anymore. There's very few of those. Like you said, they've all turned to like fast food joints or whatever, Arby's and Wendy's or whatever, KFC, you know, Subways, and that's all they have. They want you to come in, buy fuel, get you a sandwich, and leave. But years ago, man, if you you guys may not know any of these names, but people here in the States would know. But, you know, if there were some roadway trucks parked everywhere, or yellow freight trucks or different things like that parked around, FedEx, different ones parked around a truck stop, if there was 4 or 5 of them, you knew that was a good place to eat.
Yeah, so you stop.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that to me that's terrible, because you've lost all those great pies, for one. I mean, the cherry pies or the apple pie, whatever their speciality was in the house. And you can imagine, like in the movies, you know, the truck driver sits down and he says to the waitress, "I'll have whatever you suggest, honey, and whatever's good."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all the pies, man. They'd have meringue on. You know, let me move my finger where they'd have meringue or whatever on top of them that thick, you know, and they'd be sitting in a display case right up on the counter there where you could see them. You know, you'd have to have a piece of it before you left. So
Be rude not to.
Oh yeah, great stuff, man.
We still have what we call transport cafes in the United Kingdom, but like in the United States, they're diminishing now, and there's more and more fast food crap. Fast food joints.
Yeah,
and I'm not a fast food fan. My answer is what I dip a chicken nugget in is the dustbin in the trash. Don't like chicken nuggets much.
Canoeing says Sands of Iwo Jima was responsible for him for joining the Marines.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Red October. Yeah. I just kind of looking through there. The shootist. Yeah, that was a great one. Other side of the stove says, Mike, what is your favorite comfort food when you're driving your truck when you stop, or what is your favorite place to stop and eat when you're driving your truck? Well, actually, I drive locally anymore. I don't get probably 35, 40 miles away from the house now, but my favorite comfort food is ice cream. I love ice cream. I don't care which way you make it. You can make it homemade, buy it in a box, or, you know, from a machine at your favorite little store. I just love ice cream. And my grandmother is actually the blame for that. She lived to be 96 and a half years old. She lived by herself till she was 94, I think. But anyway, she lived in Phoenix, Arizona. And at the time, for many years, I lived in Dallas, Texas, suburb of Dallas, Texas. And I was leased on to a company out of New Jersey. So I ran from East Coast to West Coast a lot. And I'd stop a lot of times in Phoenix and spend a night with my grandmother. And she every night before she'd go to bed, she'd always have a dish of ice cream, and she'd come in right before bedtime and she'd have a dish up, you know, and she'd say, I think I'm going to have a dish of ice cream, Michael. How about you? And I said, yeah, Grandma, I think I will too. So I've always enjoyed ice cream, and that's my grandmother's fault.
So, canoeing. Let's go back to that one.
See, there you go.
So, canoeing. Sands of Iwo Jima was responsible for me joining the Marines, and Chef John, who's also in the Marines, says Semper Fi. That's nice. We like that.
There's Miss Cast Iron, Pete.
Thanks for your service, lads. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Bringing coffee.
She had to bring me another cup.
Can't you bring me one? What's this? Why am I being left out? Nice cup of Joe. Could do with that right now.
Yeah, I barely heard you say that, and I want to say that too, fellas. Thank you for your service. I never served. I'm a son of a POW of the Second World War, and as you can see my dad's flag. But yeah, he was a prisoner of war, the Second World War. I'm a young man out of an old family. He was a baby of about 12 or 13 kids, and I'm the baby of about 7. But anyway, thank you for your service. We certainly appreciate everything you did.
The way I see it is, if you've been a truck driver for how many years, you've done your bit. You've served. You've traveled the country far and wide, and you've made sure people have got what they needed. That's That's service as far as I'm concerned. Right. Union 76 truck stop.
Yeah, Union 76 truck stops, they were everywhere for years and years. A lot of them were basically out of Southern California. And but they were coast to coast nationwide. And back years ago, when I first started driving a truck, there was a company that used to have S&H green stamps, and you could collect those green stamps and trade them in for products, you know. And I had a directory of all the Union 76 truck stops around the country, and I made sure I stopped in there because, you know, it was based upon how many dollars worth of fuel you bought. So I would always make sure I bought a lot of fuel so I could get a lot of stamps, you know.
Great, yeah, that's handy. So it was like a bonus scheme for regulars. Yeah, good one. Question there from Mark again. Dysarts outside Bangor, Maine.
Dysarts, that was great. Outside truck stop outside of Bangor. I've never been to that one. Now, I've been into Maine, but it was just barely inside the state. I hadn't been in Maine a whole lot. I did have to stop and have some live Maine lobster, though. That was great. Oh, my goodness, man.
Oh, yeah, I love seafood. Oh, gorgeous. The seafood was fantastic in Canada where we went. Oh, it's all up that coast, isn't it? All that. From Boston on up is famous for their seafood. Wonderful seafood. Fantastic. The lobsters in Lunenburg in Nova Scotia. Oh, God, they were gorgeous. Good question there about your faith. Does it influence the content of your channel?
Well, it does. You know, my faith influences everything I do. I mean, that's my walk. And I try to treat everyone as I'd want to be treated, you know. I try to give. Of course, you know, we try to help out people, our neighbors and our friends and our family. And so, yeah, yes, sir, it does. It affects everything that I do, or at least I try to think so anyway. You know, I mean, I knew you had some things on here we wasn't supposed to talk about, and I'm certainly not trying to proselytize anybody, but, you know, I teach a men's Bible study class, actually, to be honest about it. I have for several years since I've come home. I'm not a preacher by no means, but a lot of people say I do. My wife says I preach at her all the time, if you can believe that. But I do have a strong faith, and you know, I wear overalls now. There's a reason for that. I've done about 4 or 5 funerals of some of the guys that was in my Bible study that their family asked me to do their funeral for them. And of course, like I said, I'm not a preacher, but I do study the Bible. I'm an astute student of the Bible, and it certainly has an impact and a influence in my life.
Yeah, I was raised in a Methodist family. My grandmother was a very strict Methodist. She was a wonderful, wonderful woman, and she died in 1974. And we surviving children honor her memory every day. She was that kind of lady. Yeah. And here, this is from Teresa. Mike enjoys feeding the neighbours while cooking on the fire pit. Takes brats to the young man mowing. Frittata to elderly couple and more. You share the love. Well, I feel quite honoured to have Mike on the show and to meet such a nice guy. And I'm sure we could go on for hours and hours and hours picking his brains about his travels across the United States in his truck. I think we need to bring this to a finish in about a couple of minutes or so. We've gone on nearly 2 hours now. What I think I might do is ask a couple more questions, and then we'll field a couple more from the thing, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Emma, you're right. That meal in Lunenburg was amazing. We had this fantastic seafood meal in this lovely seafront place in Lunenburg. Fantastic. Who would you cast to play you in a movie?
Wow. Who would I? You know, that's not fair. You didn't send me that in my list here. That was one you added the other night when Patrick was on there, I think.
My bad.
Who would I get to play me? Wow, that's man, I don't know. Marky Wahlberg, maybe?
Mark Wahlberg, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I like Mark Wahlberg too. He's good. I think we're pretty much near the end of it. Do you sing did you used to sing in the truck when no one was there to hear you?
Man, I sing now. Matter of fact, Teresa says I sing solo. I need to sing solo. Nobody ever hears me. Can you believe that? That's not right.
Pickles. I sing and dance. I'm a bit of a lunatic, actually.
Yeah, me too. I'm liable to break out in song at any minute. You never know what I'm going to do. But same way with dancing.
I think Charlie's cast John C. Reilly. That's pretty good casting, that is. Or Gene Hackman. Paddy Joe says Gene Hackman. Carol King thinks Tom Hanks. Wow. That's amazing. And Christian Bale can play anyone.
Even
apparently,
Mr. Iron, right?
Apparently, he's not very, according to at least one source I heard, he winds a lot of people up. Christian Bale, he's not necessarily very pleasant with people.
Good night.
It might be just Hollywood gossip, but
Pinky's leaving us.
Pinky, hi Pinky. That's the Caribbean way of saying hello, I think. Thanks for joining us, Pinky. We're in the last couple of minutes, but has anyone got any more questions for Mike? I think the John C. Reilly one's the best one. I can actually see that. I can see John C. Reilly playing you. He's a fine actor as well, John C. Reilly. Totally underrated, brilliant actor. Yeah, he's up there with the Gene Hackmans of this world. He is definitely. Bale, yeah. No, don't think so. I can't imagine him doing that. It looks like we've lost Mike. I think something's quit on us. So there's no more questions coming in. We're at the very close to 2 hour point. I think we've got Mike back.
Yeah,
we're going back. So we're close to closing point anyway. So unless there's any more questions coming up straight away, we can call it a night. And there is one more question I've got for Mike. What would you like to say to our audience, those who are here now and those who are likely to be watching in the days and weeks to come?
Keep the faith. Don't give up. Keep on keeping on. You can cook in cast iron. Anybody can. It's not as hard as you may think. Don't give up on your channel, even when it gets slow and discouraging. Pete and I were talking about when in the early stages. Of course, I've got just a few over 400 great subscribers. I love every one, and I'm thankful for them. 400 people to listen to an old knucklehead like me is amazing. But Pete was talking about when he was like at 12 subscribers, you're constantly looking to see if you're growing or not. And just, keep the faith. Don't give up. You're going to grow. You're going to have people. Just keep making content that people like. Keep making content that makes you happy. And that's what I try to do. I enjoy everything I do. I love learning from all of you guys. There's so many things, tips and tricks that I pick up from you. And, it just helps us all. It helps us all grow. Keep the faith. keep the love, and I hope and pray this this platform never changes as far as that goes, as far as the community is concerned. I really enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the support. Rarely do you get, negative comments. And even if you do, that's okay. Everything helps us to grow. So that's my final point, I guess.
All right. In wrapping it up, what I'll say, thank you, Mike, for being such a gracious guest and for answering the questions with great candor and honesty. Very clearly to me, you're a good man, and I'm glad to know you.
Well, thank you.
Right. Touting for a bit of business. If any of you want to appear on the show, and that goes for anyone watching after the live as well, if you want to appear on the show, let me know. There's an email address in the description below that you can contact me on. You need to initiate this. You need to let me know that you're interested. And if you are, we'll just hook up and get it all sorted. I'd like to say thank you to Mike for coming along and being such a great, interesting guest. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's turned up. You've all been fantastic. I'll try to run off through a few of your names, and please forgive me if I leave anyone out. We've got John and Rebecca Cast Iron Skillet. We've got The Other Side of the Stove. We've got Canoeing, who's given us some great questions and anecdotes. Paddy Joe Cooking, Patrick there, one of the savages. The Other Side of the Stove, I mentioned. We've got Emma from Flavor of Life. We've got Lady Helen for Lady Likeables. We've got Carol King, who is lovely and has been a friend of mine for several years now, for a few years. Mark and Rosa have been in. I don't know if they're still here, but Mark and Rosa have been with us. Janice, Pinky has come in. I think going up the list, who else we got there? I think that's pretty much it. If there's anyone I've left out, please forgive me. It's rather late at night and I'm tired. So that's it, boys and girls. And thank you for coming along. And we're just about to cut you off. So
Pete,
have a great weekend.
I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend.
I've enjoyed it. You bet. Thank you.
No, it's been great having you. Thank you. So bye now. Love you all.